Welcome to the course on human-technology interaction. We deliberately do not call this course human-computer interaction because we will be dealing with the interaction between humans and all kinds of technology to learn from that how to do better in human-computer interfaces. Let us start by looking at a very small example. In office buildings, we often see these magnets that are used to keep heavy fire doors open as long as there is no fire. If you want to close the door, there is a red button you can push, right? And then the magnet will release. Now, you may think, how is it possible to do this wrong? Right? The button seems easily reachable until you consider the workplace in which the interface has to be used. A normal person cannot reach the button on these very tall doors. Whoever installed the button didn't consider this problem and just thought that the top of the door was a nice place for the button to go. In another place, they did even worse. Right? In the same office building, in a different location, there were these metal sheeted walls, and they installed a magnet in such a way that it is impossible to actually press the button because it is partly inside the wall. Obviously, we need to learn to do better. Usability is very often neglected because people just do not pay attention to it. You can install these magnets in a usable way at the same cost. It just wasn't considered. Now, this course is about figuring out why some devices are easy to use and others are difficult. It's just a matter of following good design principles for user interfaces. This is a multifaceted issue. I will illustrate the issue by a simple thermo mug. I've tried to use this mug many times, and I will first start by showing you what it looks like when I try to drink from this mug. I will turn around so you can see it quite nicely. This mug, and we specifically look at the lid, of course. This mug has an opening at the bottom of the lid where the coffee flows out, and in order for this flow of liquid to go smoothly, air needs to go inside the mug. For that, an air hole has been created, and if you look carefully when I try to drink, you will see that the tip of my nose was exactly where the hole was placed. Now, this hole can be placed in almost any position on the lid. Had the hole been positioned a bit further to the back, not all the way, because then it wouldn't close when I close the lid. Further back, there would have been no problem of me blocking the air hole with my nose. We would have a usable mug at exactly the same cost. Had the manufacturer of this mug done some testing with real users on prototypes before going to mass production, they would have produced a better mug. It would have cost the same, but it would have sold much better. So good interface design really requires, first of all, understanding our users, their physical characteristics, like where is the tip of my nose, but also their mental abilities. Users cannot, for instance, remember everything they see. They cannot even notice everything in their point of view. They need to be understood in order to adapt interfaces to what they can do. We will learn about interaction styles to use. Right? Think, for instance, of direct manipulation, of drag and drop. It's not the best for every interface, but we will learn when to use which interaction style. We will also learn about the methods and tools and languages for designing interfaces, and my associate, Dr. Natalia Stash, will give you a number of tutorials on these technologies, right, and is also available for technical help during the assignments. We will also need to do evaluation. When you test your prototype and you find out that something doesn't work well with the users, right, you change the design, you make a new prototype, and you iterate and iterate until it is good. So the core of human technology interaction is actually making the interfaces usable for very complex devices. We see here a picture of the engine of a car. It has many components, it has a lot of functionalities, right? We as users cannot think of driving a car in terms of what the engine is doing. So the way we think is in different functions than the actual technical functionality of the device. When we drive a car, we think of the accelerator to speed up and the brake pedal we push to slow down. Interaction design is all about mapping the functions the humans think of into the technical functionality that is needed. Obviously, this mapping is not a one-to-one mapping. And in cars, for historical reasons, the interface is often still way too close to this one-to-one mapping. We want to do much better in the novel interfaces that we design. I will tell you the basic principle of good design is that when the user thinks of an action as being atomic, I press a button, something should happen. It doesn't matter whether the system has to do 100 things. If for me it is one action, then the interface should have only one control. So ideally, an interface could have this button that says, do what I want. I will now press the button and we will see what happens. Right? I press the do what I want button, and lo and behold, a nice cup of coffee. Cappuccino, just what I wanted. But wait a minute, something is wrong with this interface. The do what I want button is not the best interface for this example. Can you think of what is actually wrong with this interface? I'll have some more coffee while you're thinking. Yum. Well, you probably thought it's wrong because it's impossible to do. But in this course, we can use our imagination about what the technology can do. Suppose that we do have technology that can figure out, it looks into my head and figure out what I really want. The problem with this interface is then that it wouldn't need the button. And if the system knows what I want, it can give me, in this case, the coffee, right, without me having to ask for it. Now, that's what human technology is about. We are going to maximize the simplification of interfaces so that users in the end have an easy and pleasant experience. By the end of this course, you will all be able to create interfaces like that. Thank you.